Okay. So if you guys have any questions while I'm like going through this is kind of just me like talking about what's working for me. There's no structure to this. Like I said, it's very last minute. So, but anyway, for the past 6 months, I've really been working on my brand. And I am just one of those people that I'm just like, I'm really nosy. So, and I love what I do, and I take this seriously, and I consider this my career path. I consider this like my passion. Like, this is what I love. And so with that being said, I feel like it's my responsibility, if this is going to be something that I'm going to be doing for the next 50 years, I don't want to just sit around and wait for my upline to tell me what to do, or sit around and wait for Jade Hooper to make a video. So that way I'm like, oh, okay, well, Jade told me to do this, so now I'm going to try it. I've always been the person that I'll try anything. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I know that, and I move on. But if it does work, then I turn around and I teach it to my team. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, there are some things that work for a week or two. There are some things that work for months and months and months, and it kind of just depends. And so I'm constantly educating myself on algorithms. I'm constantly watching trainings on branding myself, on attraction marketing. Now, I know there are some sidelines on here. Like I said, I still message. I'm still sending out 200-ish messages per day for loyal customers. But here's the thing. I don't know if you guys have noticed lately, but Instagram's being a little bit like touchy-feely with its blocking. And I know that I've run into a lot of people that have been having trouble with like, okay, I can only send out 10 messages an hour. Well, you guys, when I started 2.5 years ago, you could send out as many messages as you wanted to. Like, there wasn't like Instagram jail wasn't really a thing. So I could sit down at 10 o'clock at night, and from 10 o'clock until 12 or 10 and 2, get 400, 500 messages out. And the truth of the matter is that that's not something that people that are just starting their business are able to do. So if you're new and you've already been put in Instagram jail, you're probably like, wait, like, how am I supposed to do all this without getting an Instagram jail? So you guys, I figured this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send out 150 to 200 messages a day for loyal customers. I'm going to do 10 an hour, and I have 3 Instagram accounts. Let me be very clear for anybody on here that's brand new. I do not suggest getting a second or third Instagram account until you go to your upline and ask, and your upline says, yes, you're confident, you're killing it with your first Instagram, you're consistent. I definitely think that you can take on another Instagram account. Okay? Because it is extra work. It is added time that you're putting into your business by having 2-3 Instagram accounts. I can handle that. But I know that there are a lot of people on here, for example, that are just getting familiar with Instagram, are just learning how to message people, are just learning how to do Instagram polls. You don't need to overwhelm yourself with 7 Instagram accounts. But with that being said, you guys, I made it my goal to send 100 to 200 messages a day across my 3 accounts. So every single hour I have an alarm set and I send out 10 messages. That kind of covers my getting phone numbers and getting leads and potentials for loyal customers, okay? So that's not why I'm here to talk to you, but I just want to tell you guys kind of how I'm working my business. So I'm sending those messages out throughout the day. Now, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the app Captivate. I will be honest with you guys. It is the best $5 you'll ever spend. And here's why. So with the Captivate app, you can, let's say I go to Sally's profile and I click Sally's picture and she has 700 likes on her picture. I'm going to sift through these 700 people, and I'm going to click all of the girls who look like they're over 18, and I'm going to follow them. And I'm going to add it to my cloud. That's what it's called in the app. It's called your cloud. I'm going to add it to my cloud, and what I'm going to do is it's going to follow one person like every 8 to 15 seconds. So throughout the day, it's following 600 plus people, but it's following them like one every 6 seconds, one every 8 seconds. So I'm not getting put in jail, and I'm growing my market literally between 30 to 50 new followers every single day with doing this. And then once a week, I run cleaner and I unfollow all the people that didn't follow me back. The really cool thing I like about this, you guys, and I'll be honest with you, is that when I'm messaging for loyal customers, I don't just message the people that are following me, I message the people I'm following. When I message the people that I'm following, some of them aren't following me back, but they still respond to me. They still look at my profile and like a couple of my pictures. They still give me their phone number. I'm still getting potential loyal customers, even if they don't follow me back. So I'm doing that throughout the week. Captivate's going nonstop, basically. So I can, after I'm done, you guys, I can show you how I do the how I work Captivate. But so then a couple weeks back, probably the beginning of February, I decided to go public. And for the first 2 years of my business, I swore up and down that I would never have a public Instagram account. I was too nervous of people stealing my followers. I was too nervous that someone from a different network marketing company was going to follow me, and before I could block them, they were going to message all my people. And like, I was so paranoid and whatever. And so this, honestly, you guys, is a personal preference, but I'm going to tell you how being public has helped me grow my market and get more potential distributors. So Captivate's running nonstop and I'm public. So every time, let's say every single time someone follows you, because we're all on Instagram all day anyway, right? Like, so I'm scrolling down Instagram, right? And I see that Nadia followed me on Instagram. What is the first thing that you do when someone follows you on Instagram? You go and look at their profile, right? That is the first thing. Even if you're not in network marketing, the first thing you do is go and look at someone's profile. Well, if I go and look at someone's profile and they're private, I have to request to follow them back, right? So you can't see anything. You have to request, and if they accept it, then you can see their profile. Well, here's the deal. I'm public. So every single time my Captivate requests to follow someone, they see that notification pop up. They look at my page. The first thing that they see, you guys, on my page, and I'm going to show you. Let me turn the light down. The first thing that they're going to see on my page is, oh, where'd it go? Hold on. Here we go. The first thing that they're going to see on my page, once it loads, hashtag Instagram, hello, is this button right here that says My Story. I do not care who you are. If you go to someone's Instagram profile and it says My Story, the first thing you're going to want to do is click to see who this person is and what their story is and what they're all about. Like, does that make sense? Like, that is just like normal human reaction. The first thing that you would do, that's the first thing that I would do. If I went to someone's page and they had this little thing that said My Story, I'd be like, all right, well, I want to know, like, okay, I guess this girl's going to tell me her story through Instagram, right? So I spent probably a good hour one morning, okay, going through and I'm not going to like go through it like the whole thing, but I sat there and I recorded my story in pictures. So I literally went through, it says, meet Allie, trying to afford tampons and laundry detergent in the same week. I was just your average 21-year-old college student, living off the dollar menu and a prayer. You see this lady right here? It's a picture of my mom. She taught me at a very young age as a single mom that nothing in life is free, but people with a strong work ethic will always get further. Next slide. So off I went at 18 years old to Texas A&M, my dream school, 1,800 miles away from everything and everyone I called home, where I did a lot of this, sitting on the beach with a beer in my hand. And parties on the beach every weekend looked like this. And we did redneck type things like get drunk and go mudding. And my view looked a lot more like beer pong and less like passing grades. I ended up failing out of my dream college because my blood alcohol content was higher than my GPA would ever be. So I had two options. I could stay in Texas, but my parents were going to cut me off, or I could move to South Carolina where my parents had just bought a house after they moved from Massachusetts. So guess who moved back home, leaving her dream life on the beaches of Texas? Fast forward 6 months. I'm showing you guys. I wanted to go through this with you because I want you to get an idea of what I'm saying. So this is a picture of me and Matt. It says fast forward 6 months. I've lived in North Carolina for 6 months. I met the man of my dreams. We had this brilliant idea to buy a house together at 21 and 22. So we buy a house. Not only did we quickly realize how much adulting goes into owning your first home, we started falling behind on the bills almost immediately. And all of a sudden, 7 months into owning our first home, we could barely afford groceries, gas, dog food, or anything that wasn't a paper bill. What we didn't understand was we were both working 60 plus hours a week, and still we barely had enough to get by. There's a picture of me and Matt on our motorcycles, and underneath his motorcycle, it says we sold that motorcycle to pay for the mortgage for 2 months. Shows them we sold Matt's motorcycle. Then I'm scrolling through social media one day, and this chick has the audacity to tell me that she makes more from her phone than I do, working 60 hours a week. This is a profile of my Upline's Instagram, a screenshot. And I'm like, get a real job. Guess who got fired from her real job 2 weeks later when she missed 2 days of work when her horse passed away unexpectedly? This girl, me. That day I got fired, I had a real long talk with God, and I decided I could not and would not look at my amazing boyfriend and dogs and tell them they were not worth something different. I took my last $99 from my last paycheck, leaving us $14 in our bank account, and I signed up with that crazy chick on Instagram. My first month, my paycheck was $80, and I cried when I used it to buy a month's worth of dog food. My second month, I walked into the Nissan dealership and was able to purchase a 2015 Nissan Sentra with 7 miles on it. There's a picture of my brand new car. Our 6th month, I was able to bring our home out of foreclosure for good. Picture of our home. My 7th month, I was able to replace my full-time income and retire from having a boss. I became a stay-at-home dog mom. My 9th month in this business, we were able to purchase 20 acres of land in cash. As a picture of our 20 acres of land. Since then, I've been able to go on 12 different vacations that my social media business pays for in cash. So my question to you is, isn't your family worth it? Don't you deserve more? Swipe up and reply more info to see if this business would be a good fit for you. Worst case scenario, you decide it's not. Best case scenario, you change your whole family's life like myself and so many of my teammates. Okay? Then I'm going to let you guys, okay, so I did that, and I had that for a while. But then I just did this on my Instagram story the other day, and I'm going to let you guys listen to it because I want all of you to get off this and go make an Instagram story and say essentially the same thing, because I got so many. The past 3 distributors I've signed up came from them replying to what I said on this Instagram Live, and I added it to my story. So even though it's been past now and it's no longer on my story, it's still highlighted. I'm still having people watch it. I'm still getting responses from this. So let me play it for you guys. Guys, hold on. So some of you may not know that I was raised. Hi guys. So some of you may not know that I was raised by a single mom for a majority of my life. Me and my dad have a unique relationship, but there were a lot of years where he wasn't there. And I swear, from the time that I was a little kid and watching my mom be a single mom, like, she inspired me to never want to depend on anyone else but myself, to be able to take care of myself for myself. The truth is, all through high school and all through college, and even in the first couple of years of me and Matt's relationship, I relied on other people to get by. I'd rely on Matt paying the mortgage so we had a roof over our head. I'd rely on my mom. No part of me could say that if me and Matt broke up and my mom cut me off, that I would be okay, because I wouldn't have. Like, I was okay getting by, kind of paying bills, working my butt off, but I wouldn't have been all right to go get myself my own apartment. I think so much of my anxiety contributed to the fact that, like, I couldn't, like, I had to depend on other people. And then there's that weighing guilt that you feel like you owe them because you can't pay them, but you're, like, trying to make it up to them by being a really good person. That kept me up so many nights. Like, I didn't want to spend the rest of my life relying on other people to pay for the roof over my head or to cover one of my bills because I was short. I wanted to be able to take care of myself no matter what happened. One of the most monumental moments in my whole entire life was the month that I made enough with this paycheck that I knew for the rest of my life I'd never have to worry about depending on anyone else but myself. There's something so freeing for your soul when you know that no matter if anything happened, God forbid, to your loved ones, that you could take care of yourself, that you could afford financially to be okay without anyone else. And that's why I love what I do. That's why I'm so passionate about this business, you guys. Like, I get to show people how to be able to financially afford to take care of themselves when their 9 to 5, 70-hour-a-week jobs aren't. So I just want you to take a second and, like, really think about it. Like, what if something happened and you were all by yourself? Would you be able to take care of yourself without relying on a boyfriend to pay the bill or a parent to cover the rent this month? Just because I chose to make this business a plan A doesn't mean that you have to do that. You can still go to school and love your job and work this on the side and be able to bring in enough each month to have some security and peace of mind. Moms, coming from a child of divorce, gosh, I can't imagine having children and not having money in my savings account to know that no matter what happened, I could take care of myself and my kids. That is my main goal for every single person that joins my team. I want to show you how to have an extra $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in savings just in case. So if that sounds like something you need. Okay, so obviously y'all are all signed up, but like if you were just scrolling through social media and some girl followed you and you clicked on her story and you read all of that and then you heard her say that, wouldn't you be like just a little bit interested to know what the heck this chick's talking about, being able to take care of herself for herself and working all from her phone and being able to, you know, buy dog food? Like, wouldn't you be just a little bit curious? You know what I mean? Like, and I think that it was kind of, not that it was like downplayed, but I didn't think that doing these two things were going to work as well as they did for me. Like, I didn't think that these things that, like, they kind of seem really minor, right? Like, okay, so what, an Instagram story and then me telling them that, like, I can teach them how to take care of themselves? Like, yeah, I highlighted that video. It seems like just a simple thing. But when I highlighted it and called it my story, because we're all human beings who are nosy always and curious about everything, that's what like, you guys, I'm having people that don't even follow me reach out to me. I'm having people that see that, and even if they don't respond to that, like, you know, once or twice a day, I'll have someone get my number from one of my posts and text me and be like, hey, I got your number off one of your posts. I was interested in that job that you have. So it's like, this is a really cool thing. And this is what I was explaining to some of my other sidelines. When I cold message for distributors, even when I cold message people that have been in this business, I mean, that have followed me, an ice cube. What happens is I find that the people that I reach out to first about becoming a distributor, unless they weren't seriously interested and just hadn't reached out to me yet, I feel like 9 times out of 10, it's someone that I'm like dragging along and following up with all the time. And I'm like, girl, but don't you want this? And she's like, I mean, yeah, it sounds great, but like you messaged me. Like, and I wasn't, you know what does that make sense? Like, I have gotten distributors from cold messaging, don't get me wrong. I've gotten some really, really great distributors from me reaching out and sending them a message first. But when I was messaging, let's say 100 potential distributors a day, out of 100, I was only getting like one person that would eventually sign up. The rest were like leaving me on red and dragging me along, not answering my text messages, signing up and then quitting the next day. And I was like, this is so frustrating. I want to work with people that understand what it is I'm trying to do and what I want to help them do themselves. And so what's happened, you guys, is that these girls are coming to me. They're messaging me first. And they're interested enough that they want to hear more about what I'm doing. They're excited. And I'm like using voice messages, you guys. And when they ask, you know, like, well, like there's one girl that asked, I forget what she said. Oh my gosh, you guys, I just signed another distributor. She got it to work. That's 17. Holy crap. I'm literally just so excited. Okay, so where was I? Now I'm all flustered. Oh, so I have these people that are coming to me that are genuinely interested, that want to talk about this business, that want to, they like are so excited. Like they're sending me voice messages back and they're like, girl, I can just hear the passion through your voice. And I'm a college kid and all I want to do is make money and go to school and be in a sorority. And like, can you just teach me how to use my Instagram? And I'm like, girl, you already get like, and that's the other thing, you guys. I'm signing up people that like already like understand how this business works. They like get it. Like they're like, okay, so this is what I do. I post a picture about these products. I talk to the people, I sign them up and I repeat. And they're not overcomplicating it. They're literally like, I'm having them get started by putting a poll up. Some of my new girls have gotten their first 4 customers in their first 72 hours just from putting up 2 different polls and talking to them. So these girls are coming in and they're enrolling and they're excited in this energy. And so like, the momentum's insane. But what it stemmed from, you guys, was this Instagram story. And like I said, I really took the time. It took me about an hour. I started back from like when I graduated high school and I was pulling up pictures from when I was in high school and when I was in college and showing them. I was telling my story through pictures, okay? And so and here's the thing, you don't have to, some of you on here can't say that you've earned $43,000 in bonuses. And some of you on here can't say that you make $6,000 a month. And some of you guys, you know, say like, you guys don't have the story that I have. But the truth of the matter is that people are connecting with my story and what I've been through. Not like they can't relate to knowing what a $6,000 paycheck, like they don't relate to that. They're probably like, okay, that's great that she makes that much money. But like they can't even fathom the thought that I actually make that much money. You know what I mean? Like most of us started for an extra $300 to $500 because that's what we could wrap our brains around. And so that is just the biggest thing, you guys. And I think the other thing you have to understand is the fear aspect of it, you guys. I had this really, really big aha moment the other night, and I'll answer everybody's questions after this, but I had this really big aha moment the other night. And I think that if there are any, you know, dominant above leaders on here, then you guys can relate to this. But I realized that I love my team. Like, I love my team. Like, golly, I love my team. And as much as I want them to be ambassador diamonds, to be in the Millionaires Club, to be on the White Couch, to be triple diamond and above to get their first $10,000. Like, as much as I want all of that for every single person on my team, even more what I want for the people on my team is that every single one of them has enough in their savings account that, God forbid, anything happened to them, that they could take care of themselves and their children, fur or human. Okay, you guys know I love my dog, so. And when I started thinking about it like that, you know, like, I think that's the biggest thing, like, because I was there. And how many of you guys right now on this, if you're, let's just say, like, I'm just realistic, you guys, like, I'm red. Let's just say your husband left tomorrow and your mom and dad cut you off. Could you take you and your 2 kids or you and your 4 dogs and be able to keep your dogs, keep your kids, and find somewhere to live? Do you have that backup money? That's terrifying to me. That's so scary, because I'm a kid of divorce. I remember to this day, literally 17 years later, I remember the day my dad walked out of my mom, and God, like, my mom was raised by a single mom, and so she had money set aside so she could take care of us. But I know there are so many people on my Instagram and Facebook timeline right now that do not have the ability to say that they would be okay if something happened. That is enough to keep me up working, talking to people, stepping out of my comfort zone, making Instagram stories, doing what I have to do, having conversations, sending voice messages, because I mean, I'm not calling myself a feminist by any means, but like, I am all about that, like, independent boss babe, like, don't let anyone, like, don't rely on anyone but yourself mentality. And so I think that's why I'm connecting with so many people, and so many people are seeing that story that I made and then hearing me say, listen, I was in your shoes. It was terrifying. It controlled my anxiety. And one of the best days of my whole entire life was the day I made enough money with this paycheck to know that I wouldn't have to, that if anything happened, you guys, this is so crazy. Right down the street, I told my team this the other day. It's humbling because I drive past it every day. This girl was making dinner, and she went and she put French fries in oil, and the oil splashed up, and within 2 minutes and 30 seconds, half their house and their car, because their car was in the carport underneath their house, half their house and half their car was completely engulfed in flames, burnt to a crisp. She is in ICU, put into a medically induced coma because 95% of her body was covered in burns. How many of y'all have made French fries before, okay? That can literally happen to anyone. That could happen to anyone. Does that not terrify? Like, that should be your, like, on your dream board, bigger than that vacation to Cabo, bigger than buying that Yukon, like, bigger, number one on your dream board should be emergency fund, $5,000. Oh, ironically, we have a bonus for $5,000 right now. So if you're not Emerald yet, I mean, like, literally, I think the gods are just, like, coming down. But do you guys get, like, kind of where I'm going with this? Is that sometimes you think that you need this big, huge story. Like, sometimes you think, well, like, oh, I bet Jade mass enrolls because Jade is a bajillionaire. You know what I mean? No. Jade mass enrolls because she's relatable AF. Because Jade doesn't brag about all this money she makes. She just lives her life and talks about her struggle when she was hanging up sheets in her living room to keep her 2-year-old warm. Like, sorry, I'm fired up now, but that's kind of what I just have really started focusing on with my team, is instead of making it about making it about yourself, making it about you not having like a story, because I feel like that's either like diamond and above, double and above. I feel like those incomes are where you can start putting savings away. Especially, you know what I mean? Like, especially if you don't quit your full-time job. But, I mean, maybe for some of you, Ruby, $500 a month that you could strictly put it straight into savings. Like, I don't know your situation, but what I do know is that you can either, if something happened tomorrow, you could either take care of yourself, or you would be so scrambled trying to set up GoFundMes, trying to call family members to crash on their couch. Like, do you have first, last, and security for the average cost of the apartment down the street from you? Go look it up right now. Go look up what an average 2-bedroom apartment in your city costs times 3. Do you have that in your savings account? God forbid anything happens to your house. You know what? I mean, like, I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm just being like honest. And I think that by having that conversation and letting everybody that clicks my story hear my story and then hear me say, like, listen, you guys, like, I understand what it's like, but it doesn't have to be like that. I'm telling you right now that you do not have to be paralyzed every single night as you fall asleep, because, like, if anything happens, if the tire gets a flat, it's going to turn your whole entire world upside down. You know what I mean? So, all right, I'm going to go through and look at some of these questions. That's kind of all I had. That's just, you guys, I've literally, I've grown my potential distributors. I get all of their phone numbers. And so in the past month, I have gotten almost 150 new phone numbers. And out of those 150, 17 have signed up now. So do the math. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't just talk to 20 people. This is 150 people over the span of the past 25 days. Hold on, let me just read these. Someone asked how to do videos on Instagram. Honestly, it's the same thing as like doing Snapchat. And you can look it up. There's so many videos on YouTube. Hold on, you guys. Sorry. Let me just... there are so many videos on YouTube on how to work Instagram that I'm not gonna go through all of that. I don't know if droids can do the swipe up option. I don't know about that. I'm with my trusty iPhone, so. How do you save the story? So if you go to Instagram, let me do it on my other account and see if it works. Yeah, so like this is my other Instagram account. And like it doesn't have any stories on it yet, but you can literally just click it, and I just made a word swag picture that said my story. And you can edit I forget what it's called, but you can edit it so that it shows my story like as the thing. You guys can find all how to do this on YouTube. Like you can find anything on YouTube. So if you don't know how to work Instagram story on a Droid, or if you don't know how to work with the highlights option, like I promise you guys there's a YouTube for it. I can, Kayla. Okay, so here's the thing. And I like to just like give this fair warning for those of you that are not, for those of you that are on here that are not Team Hooper. I'm someone that like, I don't believe that I would be very stupid to believe that there's only one way to work this business, okay? So what I say is what I'm doing, but by no means am I saying this is the only way to do it. I know what works for me. I know what works for my team. Like I said, I'm always someone that will try something for a couple of tries. If it's really not getting good feedback, then I'll stop doing it. But like, I'm not even like, when I go public, you know, if you want to try going public, don't try going public for one day. Commit to going public for like a week, so that you have like you can't just do something once overnight. I mean, I don't need to explain that to y'all. So what I found, you guys, here's some of the things that I've found. And this goes back really into branding yourself. And if you look at Instagram, there are so many people on Instagram. And I know that Instagram is kind of fixing their algorithm now that I saw. So maybe this won't be the case in a couple of months. But you have to have good quality pictures that get likes within the first 60 minutes for your pictures to be shown at all. So if in the first hour you don't get a certain percent of likes relating to how many followers you have, it's just going to stop showing your picture after that hour. Okay? So when I started my business, I was taught the Jade Hooper 3-3 rule. Like, that was how I got to double. But like I said, so many things have changed, you guys, and I'm forever trying to keep up with social media changing. That what worked 2.5 years ago when you could throw up a before and after picture and like everybody would like comment on it and like it was like before and after pictures were gold, like that's not really so much the case anymore. You do need to take better pictures. You do need to edit them. You do need to, and I'm not saying this to scare you guys. I'm saying this because this is the fun part of the business for me. I get to be creative and brand myself and create a social media account that literally screams, I am Allie, take me or leave me. And there are a lot of people that want to come be friends with Allie because of how I've branded myself. You guys can look up branding and attraction marketing on YouTube. You guys, literally, I'm telling you, you can find everything on YouTube. So actually on my YouTube channel, I have one about branding too and how to find your brand. But the truth of the matter is, you guys, is this is what I found. I found that a lot of my market is college kids. A lot of these girls post once a week, if that, get 700 likes on their pictures and don't want to post black, green, bling throw up all over their profile. And when I was doing the 3-3 rule and I was like, okay, here's a picture of Morgan with her hair, skin, and nails, and here's a picture of me with my shake, and oh my gosh, I just bought groceries. And like, when my profile was nothing but join this, buy this, it works out the yin yang, it was turning people off because they didn't want their Instagram to look like that. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Why some people might be like, yeah, I mean, that's interesting, but I'm not posting 7 times a day of those green shit things. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. So with that being said, you guys, I realized that people were looking at my profile and using my profile to gauge whether or not they think that they would be okay at this. And for all of you guys out there, my doubles, my diamonds, my emeralds, my triples, everyone out there, here's the thing. Something that I think that we kind of like maybe have forgotten about. We work so hard, and for a lot of us, this is our full-time job. That turns people off too. If you're posting 7 times a day because you're at home and you can, that's great. But there are going to be people that see your profile and they're like, well, I'm not posting 7 times a day. And they're not going to reach out to you, even though that girl could have been your next triple diamond. But she didn't want to reach out because she doesn't want to post 7 times a day. So this is what I did, okay? yeah, so this is what I did. I used to have on my team page, I used to have this pinned post where it would have so many, it had literally, I mean, it's still around, but it had scripts and pictures of posts. And so what I was having them do was I was having them post one a day. It was very impersonal. Yeah, the pictures were great, and they were getting loyal customers here and there because it was like the girl on the beach, the long hair, and you're like, I need 5 hair skin and nail models. Like, yeah, those catch people's attention. But this is what I decided to do. I started signing distributors up, okay? And the very first thing I ask them, I don't even tell them to post anything. I literally just say, are you familiar with Instagram stories? 9 times out of 10, they say yes. I say, do you know how to put a poll on an Instagram story? 9 times out of 10, they say yes. I say, all right, take this picture. It's a girl in a sports bra, and it says, who's looking to lose 10 to 30 pounds in the next 90 days? I said, put this up on your Instagram. I've got a girl, you guys, and granted, like, this is all a learning experience, but I have a girl who has almost 2,000 followers. She came to me with almost 2,000 followers. She signed up. She's almost charted for Ruby and has enrolled her first 10 customers, and she's never once posted about It Works. Her first 10 customers have all come from polls. And so what she's doing is on her profile, she's posting about her life. She's posting her in the gym working out. She's posting a picture of her and her boyfriend and talking about how wonderful their weekend was. But it's her story where she's posting polls and she's talking about using the products and she's posting her own results that's pulling people in. And granted, yes, you guys, you know, I know that there's going to come a point where, like, if she wants to go all the way to Emerald and really bust butt and get there, she's going to have to post. I mean, she's been posting on her Facebook, but you know what I mean? But instead of having her post all these spammy pictures just to, like, get it out there, I'm like, let's just work on these polls. And you guys, that's what I've been doing. I've been having them post on their Facebook because most of them, you know, use their Instagram more anyway. So I'm having them post on their Facebook. I'm having them post polls, and I'm teaching them how to use their timeline to talk about themselves, to brand themselves, to express themselves. So does that make sense, you guys? Do you guys have any more questions on that? I mean, that's really as simple as it is. And for their first, until they get their first 4 customers, they're screenshotting every single conversation they have and they're sending it to me. Which I'll be honest, you guys, like, I'm just going to be honest, like, it's a lot. It's a lot, you know, but it's worth it, obviously, because they're learning how to run their business without feeling spammy. They're getting votes on their polls immediately because so many, like, you know, does that make sense? Like, someone signs up, they've never posted about It Works before, and all of a sudden their friends see them post about a poll about wanting to grow their hair out. Well, of course they're curious. Now they're so excited because they have like 17 people voting on this poll about growing their hair out, and they're like, I didn't even think anyone was going to want to buy this, but now there's 17 people that want this hair, skin, and nails, and now I'm talking to 17 people, and they're fired up. And guess what, you guys? Out of the 16 distributors that I've enrolled this month, 3 of them have already quit. But guess what? Before one of those girls quit, she enrolled 2 customers from using her polls. You know what I mean? And so I'm kind of like, that's what I'm doing. I'm having them use their polls to get their first 4 customers. And then once I know that they're like, yes, I want to do this. Yes, I'm in. Yes, I want more. Yes, teach me more. Yes, I'm getting on Zooms. Yes, I'm sending you screenshots. Once I know that they're not going to, you know, hit it and quit it with their kit and be out 2 days later. Once I know that they're in this and invested enough to enroll 4 customers, that's when we start talking about posting. That's when we start talking about how to write a life post. And so yeah, does that help with starting distributors? That's kind of just what I've been doing. I don't know. For a while I was enrolling distributors and I just felt like I was in this like vicious cycle of like, they'd stick around for like almost 60 days and like right before 60 days they'd quit. And it was like over and over. And I was like, I remember going to Jade and being like, Jade, I don't understand. Like, what am I doing? Like, why isn't this working? Why are they all quitting before 60 days? And Jade's like, well, maybe you just need to switch it up. Maybe just try something different. And so that's what I did. I tried something different. It's been working for me. So yeah, I'm going to stop this